With Fallout 4 coming out recently, we ask ourselves, can we science it? Yes, we can. We know that most people would likely die in a nuclear fallout, but could things like ghouls and super mutants actually exist in a real nuclear fallout? First of all, ghouls are humans that were irradiated in the Great War of 2077. They age extremely slowly, and most succumb to insanity as most of their brain rots away, which turns them into feral ghouls, zombie-like creatures that only follow their instincts. I must also mention that the FEV, which we'll talk about in a little bit more detail later on, may have had something to do with the formation of the ghouls. Could something similar to ghouls survive a real nuclear fallout? Yeah, kinda, maybe. Humans have their DNA wrapped up in chromosomes. The chromosomes have telomeres, a protective repetitive sequence that keeps our DNA safe. As we age, the telomeres start to get shorter, which can cause DNA replication errors, and is one of the main ways that cells and people age. If radiation caused mutations allowing the telomeres to stay the same length, aging could be drastically slowed. This could also explain why cells that don't reproduce, like neurons, end up slowly dying and decaying, while other cells can reproduce indefinitely. The chances of something like this happening is extremely rare, yet not impossible, so a few ghoul-like creatures forming after a real fallout may be possible. On the other hand, ghouls are sterile, meaning the thousands, if not millions, of ghouls must have all had similar mutations occur, which seems pretty darn implausible. So maybe some ghouls could exist in a fallout, but what about super mutants? They're also sterile humans, but surprisingly the nuclear fallout is not the cause of the super mutants, but rather a virus called the forced evolutionary virus. The FEV is a man-made virus that inserts genes into our cells' DNA, similar to HIV, but at a much more drastic scale. There are many different versions of the FEV, but they all cause super strong radiation-resistant beings. Depending on a lot of factors, the FEV can cause super mutants to be as smart or even smarter than humans, or have the cognitive ability of a child. So could something like this really happen, even in the lack of a nuclear fallout? Yeah, kinda, maybe. Humans have immune systems which will try and fight off any viral invaders. The main point of most viruses is to get inside the cells, replicate, kill the cell, and release millions of viruses to infect our other cells. The FEV sounds a lot like it doesn't follow the normal pathways of a viral infection. This means it'll be hard for the virus to spread throughout your body. On the other hand, if it were infected with enough viruses to infect all the cells in your body with no immune response, it could likely cause the humans to slowly form into super mutants over time. It's basically gene therapy, which is possible, and scientists are experimenting with it right now. So, could super mutants actually exist? If we can perfect gene therapy using viral vectors to insert whatever DNA we want into the cells, almost anything is possible. Now when you're playing Fallout, you can look at the ghouls and the super mutants and imagine what would happen if a nuclear fallout really did occur. And as always, thanks for watching and have a super duper delicious day.